Ladies and gentlemen, the Open Tabs podcast is back. I have Joe Carlos with me. Joe, how you doing? And we have our guest, Christopher Lee,
Hello,
our
folks.
main man from Huntsville, Alabama. And we're back. We got some unfinished business. Like when Harper Lee, or Harper, what was it? Not Harper Lee. Harper Lee is your state person. It was
Well, she also
Harper.
had unfinished business with
Well, she
Go
did.
Set a Watchman.
Yeah. The less said about that, the better. Harper Stewart.
Yeah, Harper Stewart.
Harper
Unfinished
Stewart.
business.
Harper
Yes.
Stewart. Yeah.
Harper.
One of my many malaprops. Well, at any rate, we got some unfinished business here.
Allegorical.
Allegorical. He's very allegorical. He's very allegorical.
It's very allegorical. Yes.
Yeah. The sacred and the propane. At any rate, we are here to finish our business for the 2023-2024 playoffs. For
man,
the NFL. You know, it's a sad time when it comes to an end.
it is.
It ramps up pretty rapidly. And before we jump into the business of the NFL, this weekend's events, the big game, as it were, let's talk about the leakage of information that came out tonight in terms of these Hall of Fame selections. Joe,
Yes, Calvin.
I want to get it out of the way.
I'm okay with it.
Okay.
I'm okay with it. Only because the player that I wanted to be inducted, there were no safeties. Nobody at his position was inducted.
Sure. For the uninitiated, we're talking about Darren Woodson.
I'm talking about Darren Woodson, number 28 for Dallas Cowboys. They had a wonderful career.
Deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
Deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. There are other safeties that played in his era. A few that are in the Hall of Fame. So, it is what it is. But I'm okay. Dwight Freeney, we probably our last HBCU Hall of Famer. Maybe there will be others. I don't know, but he's probably our last HBCU High Famer. I'm just gonna say that. I'm gonna go on a limb.
I mean, those are pretty good odds.
Yeah. Very high from Alabama A&M. Huntsville is rejoicing tonight. Yes, rejoicing tonight. Alabama A&M. This guy, the old guy from Denver, Gradishaw, looks like a linebacker.
Oh yeah, shout out to my buddy now.
There you go, from Denver. Yeah, Gradishaw. Devin Hester, come on. Devin Hester. He absolutely no. I got no problem with that. Andre Johnson, receiver. I'm fine. Yeah. Steve McMichael. He was the man on the '85 Bears. I think he's like the one they haven't put in yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was really a standout. Julius Peppers. Come on. Come on. Patrick Willis. He was a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
Formidable. I've got no. This is a strong defensive.
Yes,
but
it was.
Strong defensive class with a special teams guy, and like our greatest special team guy ever, and Dre, a receiver. So this is a very strong class. In my opinion. I don't mind Woody not making it in because of this class. You know what I mean? I got no problem with that. I got no problem.
Sure.
Chris, that's my feelings, but
what are your thoughts, Chris?
Yeah, I was surprised it's so defensive heavy, and I choked a little bit with this being the big game fortnight. Julius Peppers of the Carolina Panthers, even though they did not get it done in everyone's favorite halftime show Super Bowl. Big game, Roman numeral 38.
I think it's okay if we say Super Bowl during the show. We just can't advertise it as such. I think that's okay. I think that's the rule.
Yeah, you can talk about it.
You just can't. You can't call this the Super Bowl extravaganza. They'll come after you. There, Goodell.
Surprisingly,
we got a lawyer on the call.
But I think it's going to be a good time in Canton. At what is that? The first week, early September.
Yeah.
Good time will be a time will be had. Is it what's that that the kids say? And again, shout out to all the Normalites who may or may not be listening.
Normal Alabama. A lot of good times in Normal
The
Alabama.
Normalites. I love the Normalites. I appreciate that.
man.
The
Yeah.
Normalites. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
How about you, Chris? How about you, Kevin? How do you feel?
I agree. I agree with you guys' sentiments. I was surprised to not see Antonio Gates. I think that was the biggest surprise for me. You know, tight end is a position that, you know,
He'll be in.
it depends.
He'll get there.
He will absolutely get in. I thought he was a first ballot Hall of Famer. A lot of the pre-hype once he became a finalist was that, you know, it was pretty much a lock for him and Peppers. And so, you know, I wasn't surprised about Hester at all. You know, he got the official knighting from One Prime in terms of the best of all time in terms of returns and everything like that. So
he did it in a Super Bowl, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, you know, and
He's
he's a part of the NFL lore. And
Yeah.
you know, I gotta say, a lot of times when we get into arguments in these groups about things, who's Hall of Fame worthy, who's not, one of the big things that people have to understand is you have to be a part of lore, or be immensely greater in one stat than other people in order to make it to the Hall of Fame. And, you know, the one thing Hall of Famers usually have in common is that they are a part of lore. They've made some big play. They've done something monumental. Like you think about Dwight Freeney and his swim move. You know what I mean? Like he was an innovator. You think of, you know, I mean, Patrick Willis's numbers were astounding when he was, you know, in his prime. He was setting records for tackles. You never seen anybody, a tackle machine outside of the Hammer Jesse Tuggle, who probably deserves to be in the Hall at some point too.
Absolutely. He absolutely deserves it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. You know, but I'm pretty, you know, again, I like the first thing I did notice with this particular class was the defensive slant, like you guys mentioned.
Bro,
this is a, you know, this is the defensive year, for sure. And just a special shout out to my Nashville Tennesseans who were Titans fans, are Titans fans, and witnessed the beatdown, the epic beatdown in Houston when not just the game when they lost 20-0, but when Andre Johnson let 3 years worth of frustration out on Cortland Finnegan out on the field.
He had it coming.
He had it coming like in the movie Chicago. He had it coming.
Yes, he had it coming.
Indeed. But yeah, it's a good class, man. And I'm looking forward to seeing the inductions and all that good stuff. And you know, that'll be our signal that the NFL has returned.
Woo!
So,
Praise God.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So
you know, if you don't mind, you know, as always, my non sequiturs here. If I can just do a very random tangent, you know, Robert Mathis to Terrence Mathis, College Football Hall of Fame, but the new head ball coach at Morehouse, just shout out to him as well. Yeah, that is a good move. You know, I was sharing with our group that I you know, of course, I had a random run-in with Terrence Mathis, a good run-in in my college days. This is the night that my roommate Ulyss Moore and myself went to go see the Holyfield and Von Bean fight in the Georgia Dome. And we happened to be guests of the infamous the spectacular Terry brothers. They have all of the Morehouse paraphernalia, the Morehouse shirts of the era. They were gracious enough to allow Ulyss and I to share their box with a lot of illustrious other people, and Terrence Mathis was one of them. And I want to say he was still active with the Falcons at that time. This is like 99. So you know, he couldn't be more gracious of a guy. Really, really kind to Ulyss and I, who were huge Falcons fans at the time. We were kind of disappointed by the year that they had. You know, this is coming off of the Super Bowl. I think the next year, Joe wrote all about us floundering the next year. But at any rate, man,
it's now called a hangover. We don't know. We didn't know it wasn't a thing.
Yeah,
it was characterized at the time.
Yeah,
but that 99, that 98 team had a lot going on.
They did. And
yeah, they had a lot. There's a lot going on. You know, there's a lot going on. So that should be a great 30 for 30, by the way.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
98, the 98 Falcons should be would be an amazing 30 for 30.
It would be an amazing 30
Dirty
for 30.
Birds and Jamal
The
Anderson.
Dirty Birds, Jamal, my man, Jamal Anderson.
But
But yeah,
the
I think
Godfather, Tony Martin, and others.
yeah, oh yeah. I mean, they had some spectacular
and some
individuals on their
characters.
team.
And
Yeah,
some
they had some
characters.
characters. Some OJ Santiago.
OJ Santiago, yes.
A lot of those guys. But
A lot of people couldn't even tell you that the quarterback. You know, that would be a great trivia question.
yeah, that's a litmus test for your true
Yeah.
Falcons fans. Your
Yeah.
you know,
That's the next dimension of my Super Bowl. Because when I get bored in meetings, I write, who wins, who the Super Bowls, and who won the Super Bowls, right?
Yeah.
1
Yeah.
through
Oh, yeah.
58. And the next dimension to test myself would be who were the starting quarterbacks
yeah.
in those games.
In those games, that because there's
Yeah.
some great names there. Craig Morton's of the world,
Brad Johnson.
Yeah, absolutely. Brad Johnson's a winner. Trent Dilfer's a winner.
Oh yeah.
and the crazy thing during that season,
Craig Morton lost.
Craig Morton did lose,
But he did win a Super Bowl 6.
yeah,
But he lost. But he was on a team that
on a winning team. Yeah,
Yes, on a winning
win
team.
Dallas Cowboys. Yes,
And just give my
Yeah.
own team a shout out. Drew Bledsoe,
yeah. Drew.
Washington State,
I would-
1993.
push him a little above some of those names.
Drew had a good game too in that game. The most interesting thing about that Falcons team was that Steve DeBerg actually started a game that
Yeah.
season.
Yes, DeBerg.
the
DeBerg
great-
was on that team.
The great Steve DeBerg,
20-year quarterback.
yeah, man. So,
Probably never made more than 1.1. Probably never in all those years. Probably
nah,
owns half of Alaska right now. I don't know where he lives.
yeah.
But I think he played for like 9 teams. I had to look that up.
He played for a hell of a amount of teams.
Yeah. I had so many Steve DeBerg cards. They were all different.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, I had that was my top Steve DeBerg collection. He was the true journeyman. The true journeyman. But I think it was a good move, Chris, for the house. I got 3 games I want to win every year. I want us to beat Skiggy, I want us to beat Clark, and I want us to win homecoming. Everything else is gravy. So, I think it's Joe, you're on the ground. What's the sentiment amongst those there?
I think it's one of optimism. Met Coach a little before he was announced. He came by the office. He was brought in by Javaro Edwards, our dear brother and our national alumni president. Javaro brought him by. As you all know, I'm a bit surly and truculent at times, and I don't want to be bothered when I'm doing things. And Javaro fortunately didn't care about that. And he came in, he's like, I want you to meet somebody. I'm looking like, then I look up like, oh, hello, coach. I say, hello. How are you, coach? And so it's a good conversation, very positive. But happy for them, happy for he and his wife.
Yeah.
And they'll be at the gala next week. So we want to just embrace them and support them however we can.
Yes.
And I think some steps are being made to do that. And I think I know some steps are being made to do just that.
Good.
And to address certain issues and concerns.
Sure.
So that we're on the same. We had, actually, National Signing Day was yesterday. We had some interesting. We had some young men from all over the country.
Yeah.
That were signed. So that was very cool. As far away as Hawaii. But I love is they were excited to come play.
Yeah.
For Morehouse.
Absolutely.
That's the best. That's the best. We won 2 games in the last 2 years, but these guys are excited to come play.
Hey man,
So
they can be a part of a new thing.
I know, man. I love it. I'm always all in, but I'm definitely continually all in.
It's like they say about a tsunami. When you initially see it, it only appears to be a 1.5 foot wave in the middle of the ocean. I think Brother Edwards, when he was interim AD, and now Brother Ellis as AD, I think they have laid the groundwork that has been unseen so far. And it's like a duck in water. They're gliding gracefully, but they're paddling like hell underneath. So
Yeah.
I'm very excited about all of our athletic programs, actually.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I'll be at the game Saturday. I'll be at our basketball game Saturday We got baseball is in full swing as well.
I was gonna say, man, folks want to. Hey, that was great. I see you, Jeff. I see what you did.
Thank you.
Morehouse is a great tradition of athletics outside of football. I mean, like
absolutely,
our
but
tennis
nobody,
program, our
absolutely,
track and
but no
field
one
program.
talks about. No one talks about it, and so not no one, but I'm saying it's not nearly as sexy. So,
Right.
So it doesn't, it doesn't resonate the same.
Yeah, we got Olympians, we got NBA players.
Absolutely. I mean, NFL players.
Yeah,
absolutely. So, but to you, and to your point, we institutionally though, we have not looked at how the impact of the importance of athletics. So we don't even have a Hall of Fame, but Javaro is actually. I'm working with. I've been asked to consult on the creation of said Hall of Fame.
Okay.
As well, and who
they couldn't ask somebody better.
Thank you.
Thank you, the guy.
Thank you. And who should we include? In this, that, and the other across all of our sports.
Yeah.
That we've ever. When you do that for an inaugural class, you do that for swimming.
Yeah, I was gonna say. See, I know somebody like you who's gonna recognize the Tiger Sharks.
Yeah, exactly. For swimming, for golf, for tennis. Robert Williams, class of 2000, he never lost. Man. Rob never lost a set in 4 years.
Yeah. Shout out to Rob, man. Great interview. Great guy.
I just want to be. You know what I'm saying? Like
I had the honor and privilege to interview him when I was a sports editor. He was a fantastic dude all around.
He's a wonderful person.
Yeah.
Wonderful person. Perpetual fan.
Since I helped steer this digression from this beautiful show.
Yes, you did.
I'll transition from from Brother Jerome Boger, class of 77, and Brother Ramon Harewood. I cannot remember his class. I'm so ashamed. Who were both participants in the Roman numeral game when it was in New Orleans.
New Orleans City. Yes, New Orleans City.
And the Ravens won. And so
shout out to Ramon, our first Super Bowl champion. Yes. shout out to Ramon.
If you will.
Shout out to Jerome. Yeah, for calling the game, now retired, for calling the game. His son is an official, so he went the Hockley route.
Right, I was gonna say it's not just Hockley out here. We can get shout out to Jerome Boger, man.
I think Gene Steratore sons is roughing too.
I'm sure he is.
Steratore. smug Gene Steratore.
Yeah,
yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, well, so there's a game this weekend.
Here we are, face to face.
Here we are. Hey, man, and our records are all the same. Going into this matchup,
into the big game.
Yeah, the big game. We got the Chiefs of Kansas City there to defend their title, like the great Ric Flair. To beat a man, you got to beat the man, and the man is there.
Good point.
Against the San Francisco 49ers, where it really all started for the Chiefs. This is a rematch of the 2019 big game Super Bowl. It's a great matchup from a media standpoint. It's a great matchup from a X's and O's standpoint, in my opinion. But I think that it's going to be a little bit different from the last game. We'll get there. Joe, what are your thoughts on the game and all that good stuff?
Well, my thoughts on the game are that I think it should be an exciting game. Mm-hmm. I think the pressure is. I don't think Kansas City, even though they're defending world champions, I don't think they have nothing to prove.
No,
at all. You're starting talking about dynastic levels. When you with a win here, if they win this game, you start talking about dynasty and what does that look like from a legacy standpoint, and then you really start talking about them being in this room more than their big three in their coach and their quarterback and their tight end. You start talking about when you put a team together that does that, then that's when you start looking at the line and you start looking at other standouts and things of that nature. Maybe even assistant coaches, because their defensive coordinator is a big part of their secret sauce right now.
Yeah, absolutely,
and has been for a couple of years. But having said that, though, no, I think it should be an interesting game. They match up in a way that should be very entertaining for us. and San Francisco has a lot to prove. They have not won this game since 1995, so it's 29 years, and they've been there, like you mentioned previously a couple years ago, and then 11 years before that.
29 years ago for Roman numeral 29.
Yes, exactly, for Roman numeral 29, and in Miami Gardens, Florida. But having said all that, I think that they have tremendous pressure from an organizational standpoint. Shanahan, it's time to perform at the highest of stakes. In 2 Super Bowls, whatever his thing has fallen flat. So I really believe it just this is, it is what it is. It's fallen flat. Has it been the same people every time? No, but he is definitely the common denominator. Right. So I think, and I heard Doggy say this the other day, Mad Dog, Chris Russo say this the other day, and I was like, oh God, it hit me like a bolt, like a bolt right between the eyes. Like, that's right. I do believe Shanahan has the most pressure in this game. Reed doesn't have what does Andy Reid have to prove? Nothing. He's selling insurance. A coach. Yeah. He's selling insurance, right? Yeah. The Chiefs have nothing to. The Chiefs. This is another day at the office. I mean, they want to win. They want to defend the title and make some history and things of that nature. But it's the Niners who are really more of the upstart that they're coming to this party. These Niners, and still a little. I still hear a lot of chatter about last year. Okay, well, it's over. Last year's over. Shoot, this year's over. This past season's over. Season. Yeah. The regular season's over. So now this is where champions are made, obviously. So I think that's where the pressure lies. And I guess we'll get into the litigation of all that, but I think that there's a great deal of pressure there in San Francisco, and how will they react to that, and how will their coach react or respond or make adjustments at specific times.
Absolutely. Chris, what do you think?
I believe this is one of those games where you can pretty much break out all of the cliches. Who's going to bend and not going to break, or this is going to be a shootout, or this is going to be an instant classic. Take your pick. I think it will be one of the three, or all of the three. Kansas City, I agree with Joe. There's nothing left to prove, and I think they win this game. I think it will put pressure on them for next year. And I think it would make my former coach unemployed for sure. I think they would want to think about, can we be the first to three-peat since the pure NFL era, or pre-Super Bowl era, I should say. The San Francisco, or for my friends who like to be petty, the Santa Clara 49ers, is it the Yorks time, or, was the greatness only with the Bartolos, something to look at. And Kyle Shanahan, is this your chance to finally break through, or are you going to be the next Dan Reeves? There will be a lot determined around one game alone, and it is exciting both for the game itself and the fallout that will occur from this game. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think the teams that are there, mesh up pretty well with one another. There are some weaknesses to exploit on both sides. Kansas City has a great pass defense, and it doesn't get talked enough about. Their defensive backs are top notch, particularly McDuffie. They've shown out in the playoffs, but they can be run on. San Francisco's run game CMC is the best non-quarterback in the league right now. You know what I mean? He's that man. He's that guy. And so, and you better believe Shanahan knows that, and not just CMC. You also have Deebo as an option. They're not afraid to use Juszczyk. They got options. They can run the ball. And that's something that, if he doesn't outsmart himself, he has a solid blueprint towards making this a game. But with that being said, that's something to consider. One thing about these coaches, that, I guess gets them to the point that they get is that they do outsmart themselves, and
Right.
they do try to get a little cutesy at times. You know what I mean? And I think,
Right.
you look at Andy Reid's career, and certainly when he was with the Eagles for a while, they had that tendency to do that kind of thing in the playoffs as well,
Yeah.
until he kind of got it together and didn't. Will that happen for Shanahan? I don't know. Falcons fans out there know, Shanahan had the game plan against your beloved Patriots for a while. They started out well, and you dance with the wind that brung you until the wind that brung you leaves with Victor Crumb or whoever, the guy at the ball, who looks a little better, and that's what happened in the Falcons game. The Falcons stuck with an aggressive foot on the pedal offense until it stopped, until the Patriots made adjustments, and then they didn't make counter adjustments, and didn't do the simple thing of running the clock out. And so I say that to say that coaches can get in their heads, particularly someone like a Kyle Shanahan, who is touted for better or worse as a genius. Had these names thrown around about him. That's what I worry the most about with San Francisco, because I mean they do have the weapons. They have a great defense. Fred Warner's been playing out of his mind. Dre Greenlaw's been playing out of his mind. The one thing I'll say about them that might be their downfall is that they tend to start slow. And if there's one thing about Brock Purdy that I feel is probably the most valid criticism of him, is that he tends to start pretty slow, and then he gains momentum, and he's definitely shown himself, I think, at this point, to be a good second half quarterback. Say what you will about him being a system quarterback, all those kind of things. He's done what CJ Beathard wasn't able to do. He's done with Sam Darnold hadn't been able to do, which is win the game he's winning. So, and he's got him there. He's got him to the game. Jimmy Garoppolo did the same. But San Francisco, and this will be the last point I make about San Francisco and Kansas City's matchup, is that in 2019, and again, it's different teams, but San Francisco collapsed at the end of that game, for sure. And the Chiefs had that grit and the ability to adjust, and have shown it time and again. They did it again last year against the Eagles. So, and I don't know, man, but anyway,
and if you allow me to show my noviceness, I remember two other points I want to bring up.
Sure, go ahead.
Another cliche. Can San Francisco, as you mentioned with Brock Purdy and slow starts, can they do enough and not bleed out?
Right.
Especially if Kansas City gets off to a first start. And another question, I know he's not in this game this year, but if Kansas City were to win, how does that affect Eric Bieniemy's reputation and legacy, especially now that it seems that he's going to be out with, as I like to call them, Maryland's other franchise, or as their trademark, the Commander. So does it look like Eric Bieniemy was important, but they did it without him? Was it really Andy Reid? I mean, Eric Bieniemy, let's be clear. Let me make this clear. Eric Bieniemy is an offensive genius mind, period, full stop.
Yeah.
So let's be clear about that. But, people said, okay, it was really Andy Reid, or, if they can win without him, it's almost like, is Kansas City pulling, America's least favorite Saturday ball team, where Kansas City can just rotate in and out coordinators and, keep the train rolling? Or
Yeah. I don't know, Joe. So I guess it's all coming down to this. Who do you like, Joe? Who's your pick? Wait, put it out there for us.
Well, these are great points. Love those points, Chris. And I'd forgotten about that part. That's a big factor right there. And it's locker room stuff. So yeah, I know it's not. And I was like, yeah, there's no pressure on him. No, there is pressure. That's added pressure right there. Can we do this without can I win this game without my OC, who I went to, who I won the only OC I've known that I've won a Super Bowl with? Can I do that? So that does add pressure for them for that. Having said that, though, I do believe that you mentioned Christian McCaffrey. I think is going to be he's going to have a great game.
Yeah.
I just feel he's going to have a great game because they do have some problems with the run. Detroit did a good job early of bottling him up. Detroit came out like gangbusters and they punched him in the mouth, but they never could keep. They did the reverse Shanahan. They did not keep their foot on the gas. They had some unfortunate things that happened, but they just stopped doing the things that they were doing to win. The smarter team will win this game.
Yeah.
The team that looks at like, this is just football. If this is working, let's do it. And the team that doesn't want to get too cute or show how brilliant they are, but rather shows how strong and powerful or powerful, as Madden would say, as they are. I think the team that plays a nice, straightforward game, that's the team, in my opinion, that team is going to win. Yeah. Now, how straightforward is it for Kansas City? I don't know, because you got a quarterback that he looks like Family Circus, running around like a kid in Family Circus, running around all over the place.
That heat map is everywhere on the field.
The heat map is everywhere on the field, right? Everywhere behind the line, right?
Yeah.
He's throwing. He does what he has to do to get the ball out in all kind of angles and make it work. Yeah. So I don't know, but then you got on the other side of the ball, the kid. I went back to watch some stuff. The reason he doesn't turn over is because they drop his ducks that he throws.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's why he doesn't turn it over as much, because they drop those passes that he's throwing. Mm-hmm. But he's throwing them dead to the people. I mean, I'm talking right to him.
Yeah.
And it happened in Detroit.
Yeah, it did.
It happened in Detroit.
It did. Some lucky bounces and
some lucky bounces, or you just drop 2 interceptions. But having said all that, I think San Francisco is going to play extremely hard. It's going to be tough. They want to get out of that. They want to get. This is one more pressure thing. They want to get out of the 5 club.
Yeah.
They want to get in that 6 club.
Yeah.
With Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And they have an opportunity to do that. They're probably one of their best opportunities ever to do that. And definitely one of their better teams ever that can go. Having said all that, I've bloviated enough. I'm going to go with Kansas City. And I'm going with Kansas City because, as you've said many times, Calvin, as long as Patrick Mahomes is playing, I always believe they have a chance. I think San Francisco is a fine team. I think they're an outstanding NFC champion. They could win this game and be an outstanding world champion. But the one thing that despite all the things they have over there, they do not have a Patrick Mahomes. And I think a Patrick Mahomes, in my opinion, is going to be the difference in this game.
Yeah. I'm gonna leave Chris for last, and since he's our guest, I'm gonna go ahead and make my pick, and say I agree with you, Joe. I think that everything adds up to Kansas City defending their title. I think that the elephant in the room, Travis Kelce, and or Taylor's boyfriend, however you want to put it. I think he has a hell of a game. We all picked Baltimore a couple weeks ago. And I mean, we all had sound judgment and sound reason. And truly, Baltimore could have won that game. They didn't. And a big part of why they didn't was the resurgence of Travis Kelce in that game. At one point, I think, he didn't have a drop. He went 11 for 11 in terms of targets and catches. Made big catches. I knew as soon as he made that one catch where he stretched it out, had his, like almost a Jordan-esque leg spread and, made that catch across the middle. I was like, okay, I'm an idiot for ever going against Patrick Mahomes. Never going against Patrick Mahomes as long as he's healthy again. And they're just too much, man. They're just too much. We talked about Steve Spagnuolo, or we didn't mention his name, but Steve Spagnuolo's done a hell of a job as the defensive coordinator for that team. The defense was a liability. I went back and watched a game from the 2018 season, the breakout season of Patrick Mahomes, where they played against the Rams on a Monday night. You guys recall that game, I'm sure. It was either a Monday night or a Sunday night game. It was a night game. And it was what it was built to be, because the Rams had an offense that year. Jared Goff led, Robert Woods and Josh Reynolds making incredible plays, Todd Gurley making great plays, and They ended up winning because of two things. Number one, the porous Kansas City defense. Number two, Mahomes was making a lot of mistakes, and I forgot about that particular game, and that was really the last time he was so careless with the ball in a game that kind of mattered. He just doesn't make mistakes. Patrick doesn't make mistakes. He may make a mistake. He's not infallible, but in a Super Bowl, unless he's playing a Todd Bowles defense, he's not going to do something too crazy looking. You know what I mean? I just can't see Kansas City losing this game. I think San Francisco will put up a valiant fight. I think that Christian McCaffrey will be a standout for San Francisco. I think he probably will have at least 100 yards from scrimmage when all is said and done. I just don't think it's going to be enough. And to your point, Joe, and I'll toss it to Chris. Brock Purdy, it ends this week as far as having that incredible run of luck with people dropping short turnovers for him. I think that Snead and McDuffie make them pay, and I think that San Francisco, puts up a valiant effort but loses this game. And I don't think by the fourth quarter it won't be close in my opinion, but we'll see. Chris, finish us off here. What do you think?
I think I'm gonna show myself to be one of those talking heads that Ryan Clark referenced recently. And while the next Roman numeral game, big game that I play in will be the first one I play in. And so you look at the whole setting. You're out there in Las Vegas, or legally speaking, Paradise, Nevada. That's my random fact for tonight. And it's just exciting. It's exciting atmosphere, electric. And you're thinking, okay, the teams are there, but these are professionals. So whether you're playing, I don't want to pick on any particular city. Whether you're playing in Pontiac, Michigan, since there's no more Silverdome, or you're out in Paradise or Las Vegas, you know what you're playing for. And so I don't think that's going to be necessarily a factor. But one of your listeners who criticized me and has given me critiques told me there's something about Kansas City and muscle memory after the AFC Championship game. It's like, no, I knew Kansas City would win, because when you've been there, it's business as usual. You're not pressured to do very much. You know what you need to do. You have the 60 minutes to do it. You get the job done. San Francisco is very talented. They're strong. Sometimes they look like world beaters, and other times it's like, who is this? But the same way with the original Dallas Texans. They opened up the season losing to the Detroit Lions, who
yes, they did.
I thought would be playing this week. But sometimes they play up, they played out. But I think when it comes time to winter football, they play to the occasion. And Patrick Mahomes has been there before. This is not new to him. Yes, Coach Kyle Shanahan has been there before too. But Patrick, it's like, I'm just going in here with my briefcase. I have a job to do for 60 minutes. And to telegraph my pick. Well, also, wait, I got to give a shout out to conspiracy theorists. I think
the
script for the 2024 season wants Kansas City to be vying for a three-peat. I think they also want Taylor Swift to be performing at halftime during Mardi Gras in New Orleans. So, for both football and non-football reasons. I'm kidding about the non-football reasons, but if they happen to be right, don't call me for Powerball numbers. I do think Kansas City will win. They know how to play, the teams who most people project them to lose to. Baltimore, I thought for sure, it was either going to be a high-scoring shootout or Baltimore's defense will finally catch them. And they said no. And they went into not M&T Bank, but the Ravens' house, and beat them in the middle of what I think both of you at one point referred to as what was supposed to be Baltimore's coronation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just think
That's
kids,
what I said. That's what I said. I
Yeah,
thought
no, I own it.
I said it was supposed to be
Yeah,
kids.
I
agree
said it
with
with
both
both
of you
my feet on the ground.
Yeah.
I standing on business. I said it.
but Patrick Mahomes, it's just very hard to bet against him this time of year. And Brock Purdy is new. I mean, yeah. I know he's been compared to one great quarterback. I would not compare him to another and think, hey, one did it in his first go around, but nah, you're going against Patrick Mahomes. I say Pacheco. I mean, Kansas City. I think they have the weapons on the offensive side of the ball to get it done, and I think their defense will bend but not break.
Mm. There you go. There you go. So I think I'm glad to hear we're all in agreement. Any particular surprises or things that you guys think might happen in this game? We haven't talked about the Super Bowl halftime show with Chattanooga's own aka Atlanta's own Usher. Usher Raymond IV. Any surprise, Joe? Do you expect any surprises in this game in terms of like crazy things to happen or prop bets or anything?
No, I'm not really into the gambling
Yeah.
and the prop bets and things of that nature. But I just think it's going to be two very good teams that are going to play against each other. I think there could be a prop bet about the number of touchdowns McCaffrey and Kittle's combined touchdowns. Could definitely be a prop bet, or McCaffrey's scrimmage yards, that type of thing. If they're throwing within the 5 or 10 and they can't get Debo on a cross or coming underneath, it's going to Kittle. No question, it's definitely going to Kittle. But no, I think it would be surprising to me if they try to get too cute, if either team tries to get too cute, and it costs them immediately. And the only time that it works when it costs you immediately is the first drive, second drive, when no one scored. Because at least that means, okay, this is where we can take some chances that aren't going to, because we're still at 0-0, so we can definitely take some chances. But I don't know. I don't know if there will be any surprises. I just want it to be a very good game. So we shall see. But I hope it's a blow up.
Yeah. Chris, what do you think? Any surprises or
if there's going to be a surprise, if there was something that you could put a few dollars on and make a multi-fold return on, I would take it on Christian McCaffrey having a fumble and Harrison Butker on the over on 4.5 field goals.
I like that. North Avenue Trade Schools.
If you're feeling crazy,
Harrison
I think if
Butker.
something crazy happens, it would be. I think both of those things would have to occur in the game.
Sure.
Like Harrison Butker is just going to be the outright, not a walk-off field goal. Like he's just going to score the points that need to be scored to win this game.
That would be something. I didn't think of that. I think for me, it's going to be. We talked about, Joe. You kind of made mention of if it gets to red zone territory, going to Kittle or McCaffrey. I think be on the lookout for, speaking of cutesy, Juszczyk, Kyle Juszczyk. I think especially the who was the guy for the Pittsburgh Steelers that scored that touchdown, the very first touchdown in that game. He was the most unlikely player to score. It was like Gary something or the other.
Rocky Blyer.
No. This is it when Pittsburgh.
I'm being
okay.
facetious.
Okay. This is the Pittsburgh and Cardinals game. I can't think of the guy's name. But at any rate, there's always somebody, and another one to consider would be Noah Gray, the tight end for the Chiefs. They like to go to him, just kind of as a decoy. But I agree, Joe, in terms of like, the cutesy stuff. And we've made that point kind of ad nauseum. They probably should stay away from that kind of thing. But if it does happen, it'll happen early on, like you said. And that prop bet of who will score the first touchdown is always an interesting one to do. I'm doing some squares for the very, very first time this year. I've never have done Super Bowl squares. where you pick the numbers for exactly for each of the teams. And I think I bought 5 squares, and so we'll see what happens there. But I tend to avoid that kind of. I don't like to really gamble on the game in and of itself. I really do try to enjoy it. You guys got any big plans, or are you going any parties? You're gonna watch it in the solitude of your homes?
The latter.
Yeah, yeah.
I will be where I last recorded the show at SIP Cigars and Fine Spirits, since they're hosting the Super Bowl party, since they graciously allowed me to record the conference championship games there.
Nice.
So I'll be there, putting smoke in the
Nice.
air, since I have no actual dog in the fight.
Yeah. Speaking of which, man, thank you again, Chris. Chris, purveyor of fine cigars. The gauntlet has been thrown down. And thank you for that, sir. I'm gonna be watching the game with my good friend Reverend Dr. Joey Johnson at the First Baptist Hopewell Church here in Nashville. In Hermitage, Old Hickory, as it were. But yeah, I'm gonna watch the game there. I watched at least the first half of last year's game there before I made my way back on into the city, into Bartow, as they call it here in Nashville, North Nashville, and hung out with my friend Sasha and Debo. I think this year I'm gonna exclusively be with Joey and watch this thing play out. But I'm excited about it, man. I think it's Super Bowl's a great time. It's also a sad time because it's the end of the year. But true. We got other things to look forward to. Joe, you alluded to the birthday of our alma mater coming up. Some of us celebrate Valentine's Day, others of us celebrate the founding of the great institution that brought us three together, dear old Morehouse College.
Right. Absolutely.
And this is one of your busy seasons. Joe has a lot of busy seasons. This
one
is
of the high holidays.
Yeah, one of the high holidays.
This is one of the high holidays.
Hey man, Joe puts in that work for the candle in the dark. Hey, you guys that are uninitiated, you really need to once in your life, and then once you do it once, you'll do it over and over again. Attend the Candle in the Dark gala, where we honor both Morehouse's finest alums, as well as those that are near and dear to our college that may not have gone to Morehouse.
Very true.
And it's a great time to celebrate for the college. I like it as much as homecoming at this point in my life. It's a different kind of crowd, different kind of atmosphere, but the celebration is the same. That when people start announcing these 6 and 7 figure dollar donations to the college, it's nothing like it. And when the room starts vibing, it's a good feeling. And so, I'm excited about that. And if you will allow me to indulge my favorite person, my oldest friend's birthday, by the time this is published, I got to give a shout out to my dear sister, Nina Patrice Smith, and Dr. Nina Patrice Smith, Dean of the Applied Sciences at the University of North Carolina Central Eagles, North Carolina Central University Eagles. She's a wonderful person. She's so important to me. I'm looking at a picture that I think she painted it at a Civic Paint, and I was like, Nina, I'm stealing this. I'm not going to allow our mom to put this up. I'm going to put this on my wall at home. I'm so proud of her and all the things that she has accomplished and all the things that she will accomplish. So, Nina, this is your shout out. I love you dearly. Happy birthday to you. You guys have anything else? Any other shout outs or anything? We're recording this a little later than we usually record, full disclosure. So
I'm on mute, so you don't see me going in and out of consciousness. But long days. You mentioned I was gonna say you mentioned Morehouse Founders Day, the high holy days next week, actually. So we're in hurried preparations for that. Not to mention, I went to the Morehouse School of Medicine's Men's Heart Health brunch
awesome.
or breakfast, on Tuesday, and sleep was a big factor in quality of life and health. Absolutely. And they said a number of Black men do not get adequate sleep So that when that was brought up, there many of the things in that event were hitting home. By the way, many of them were hitting home. But with that, there were so many little changes that one can make, and sleep is definitely one, which I love to do, of course.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'd love to sleep, but nonetheless, no, we're looking forward to it. We're honoring Mac Wilborn, Ray McGuire, Reverend Dr. Aaron Parker, Dale Jones, and John David Washington on Saturday, February 17th. So we're very excited, and a lot of many rivers to cross, in the words of the great Jimmy Cliff. Many rivers to cross.
Nice.
But nonetheless, thanks for mentioning that. And if I may give a shout out, well, I can't announce it before she does. But it's just a good time to be alive and
I got you.
And Black.
Yes. I got you. Chris, we have definitely enjoyed you here on these picks, and this means that we must have you back to discuss as many films as you'd like to discuss with us.
You know what a perfect lead into my shout outs for this evening, because first and foremost, I wanted to give a very, very from the absolute bottom of my little Southern heart shout out to Dr. Calvin Miles Smith III and Joseph S. Carlos III, who for whatever reason thought it was a good idea to give me a live mic and talk about football. You mentioned
threat neutralized.
I have decided that I have invited myself back for whenever you all talk about Forrest Gump, Talladega Nights, and Lean on Me.
There you go.
Hey, all right. Favorite.
Hey, I love it.
We love that. Tell us what you want.
Yeah, we love all those.
And I just want to say, Johnny Broome at Auburn should be ashamed of himself for slapping the hand of Morgan Freeman at that basketball. It's shame. we frown upon your shenanigans, dog.
We do. But he then came back and apologized.
He did. And it was a good lighthearted moment from both. And then also, most important, I want to give a very, very special shout out to those listeners and viewers who very graciously like you through my Southern drawl and my pregnant pauses and my slow talking. And on behalf of the Open Tabs podcast host, thank you. And, I'm sure they look forward to the rebound and listenership and viewership once I depart from.
Chris Lee factor is a strong one.
Hey, man, look, hey, you said it, Joe.
Strong factor. It's very strong factor.
You led to a little uptick in our numbers, so we appreciate you, sir. And what I appreciate more than anything is you making it abundantly clear what you want to talk about. That makes it so much easier.
Absolutely.
Because we love those movies that you mentioned, and we absolutely will have you back, sir. You've been fantastic. You've learned as we learned in the learning curve about microphones and headphones and all those kind of things.
You are ready, kiddo.
Now you're a pro. Yeah. So it's been an absolute pleasure as my dad and his the person he learned from, Youngblood, used to say, a plum pleasing pleasure to have you on the show with us, man. We really have appreciated you. So in that vein, we want to invite everyone to listen to us on whatever podcast format they prefer, be it Apple, be it Spotify, be it Anchor FM, wherever. If you're listening to us via smoke signals, we appreciate that. And then those that prefer to view us, they want to see Joe in the hoodie and Chris in his Spellhouse sweater and me in my AC Slater edition Bayside jersey. Go Bayside.
Go Tigers. Bayside. Go Tigers.
Yeah, go Tigers. Hey, we keep it 100 with Maroon Tigers. You know what I mean? But we are here at the Open Tabs podcast. We appreciate all of our listeners, all of our commenters. I see you, Brett. I see you, Ray. Reese is out there. Shout out to Reese. We'll be back to the movie soon. I know Reese is taking a hiatus because we're talking football and he's a Bears fan, and they're not really relevant right now. But
well, they got a Hall of Famer.
They did get a Hall of Famer,
but so did the Falcons.
But so did the Falcons. The Falcons, technically we got two. We got
that's true.
So Reese, we're all 0-0 on Monday.
There you go. And they are the holders of the number one pick or whatever real estate comes with that number one pick. So there you go.
Shout out to the lead-in show on CB, or the lead of the show after the game on CBS. Sometimes those post Super Bowl shows have turned into some of the greatest,
like The Office.
like The Office, some great runs.
Yeah.
So wish whatever that show is.
Yeah.
We wish that show the absolute best, and hopefully they get a mythic run that becomes as synonymous with American television as any of the other greats. Yes.
That reminds me, I gotta say one last shout out, if you guys will indulge me. My tennis partner, my good friend, Dr. Kalila Allen Harris, recently engaged. Congratulations to her for that. But more important,
Congratulations.
More to the point, she's going to be featured on at least 2 episodes, from what she has told me, of Curb Your Enthusiasm's final season. That I've been sitting on that for a little while. She told me I couldn't share that.
I'm so far behind.
But yeah,
I'm still in the foisted season. I'm still foisted.
Foisted.
Yeah.
That's the Curb Your Enthusiasm final season. I'm it's bittersweet, but
that's pretty good.
There's a lot, but as bittersweet as it is, you can still go back. There's a lot of content.
Absolutely. I still go back all the way to season 1 to Porno Gill. That's
Porno Gill. He had a pad. He had a spread, didn't he?
He did.
Porno Gill had a nice home.
He did have a nice porn was good for him. He earned quite a bit of money. But shout out to Kalila, man.
Shout out. I would have closed out with with me being here. Sometimes you gotta let people know you're here.
Yeah,
that's true. That's true.
Yeah,
that was my that was my theme. I kept saying that when I went to the King Memorial and walked across that the Cats. Yeah, I think it's a Cats Bridge. The Cats Bridge in Washington D.C. I'll have to check on that. But I kept saying that it's something I let go here.
Yeah,
here.
I'm here.
But,
you're amazing, man. You're amazing.
You all are all amazing. We're all amazing. Yes.
But at any rate, guys, we'll see you. Hopefully, our predictions were correct, and if they weren't,
hopefully,
hopefully we ended it. Well, either way, we ended a 3-way tie.
Yay!
Yeah, for us and for Black America.
Yeah. Exactly. So until next time, guys, we'll see you guys.